Yo, what's going on, everyone? It is your girl, Miss DJ Hoodie, also known as Audrey Alquenva, and you are listening to another Why Run podcast live. Today is July 24th, 2023. And along with me on panel, we have the one and only JustRob.
Yo.
Hey, babe.
Oh, shit.
Okay,
Sorry
so
about that.
what happened?
I had the volume up on the thing.
Ow, I didn't even hear it. But what up, you guys? So yeah, we are coming back at you guys with a new topic. All right, and this I think is an endless topic, and because it comes in many different forms, okay, and it got researchers thinking or reconsidering, right, about psychopaths. And if you ask me, that's pretty fucking scary. But before we move on with the show, I want to give a special welcome and thank you to some new followers. So we got Ashley Axolotl. I'm not sure if I sorry girl, and Scout in Alaska, and Doomfruit Art. And right here on Twitch. So thank you guys so much for following our channel. And I hope you guys will tune in and check out the show. All right. So yes, welcome. And let's see. Oh my gosh. All right. So we're gonna be talking about psychopaths. All right. We came across an article, and we took some notes. And let me tell you guys, when I take notes, okay, I take notes of the drastic okay, stuff that doesn't sit with me well, like that I write down the shit that pisses me off, and I have questions, okay? So those are the type of notes that I take. It's mainly just my own reaction of what the hell I just read. I know people take notes. They take notes of the most important things, the informative things. But for me, I take notes based upon like, I don't know about that. I have questions. I have shit to say about it, because when I read it in this way, I'm going to ask if it's meant in that way. Like, yeah, it don't sit right, and I want to discuss it. So that's gonna be the first portion of this episode, and the other half of this episode, we're gonna be talking about a TV show, or it's like a mini series, right? Or like a docu-series, they call it. And it was you wanna tell them about that?
Well, the show is called Betrayal, and the way that I saw the trailer and they were promoting it was like, it was something so disturbing that the wife had found out about her husband, and I didn't know what to expect, so I thought it was a good show to watch, and I wanted you to watch it with me, so we did.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some stuff to say.
I was damn near shouting throughout the whole
Oh no, you were.
episodes. I think
not
kinda.
damn near, you were shouting.
Yeah, I was pissed off, and I was like, okay, I don't know if that's one of Rob's pet peeves, okay, to have. Well, okay, we were talking about this shit yesterday, that people that yell and that are obnoxious, they scream and shout in public, and I was like, oh shit, he's probably talking about me.
Oh.
Because I know I can get quite loud, when reacting to things, and I was thinking like, yo, I'm just
I'll
thinking
call
back
that
to that
passion.
night. You call that passion?
Yes, you get very passionate about certain things.
Why? Thank you.
Mhm.
I think that I do, but I think it does or can come off pretty, um, yeah, pretty harsh and pretty like, yeah, like Adi, just shut up. Okay, we get it. You're mad. So yeah, I was trying to take it down a notch on the third episode, but yeah, that's what we're gonna be talking about. And if you guys want to take notes, get out your notepads, okay, and yeah, write down Hulu and the TV show or docu series called Betrayal, okay. So yeah, let's kick off the show. So now I'm going to. I think I still have it. Let me try to find it. I have the link, and I want you guys to check it out. And I'm pretty sure in further episodes we're gonna be talking about the same exact shit. So oh my gosh, where did it go? While I'm looking for it, do you want to start? Would you like to start?
um, well, first of all, I think I had. Of course, I didn't have a clear picture of what a psychopath is. I had, my own opinion on it, and I guess what I think it's easy for us to just throw the word out there, right? Sometimes we're like, oh, I was being psycho the other day about this, or I was being a psychopath about that, and it kind of turns into a joke. So I don't know exactly like what does that even mean. And I think another thing that we relate to psychopaths is like serial killers. That's what we think psychopaths are. And because we did this research, because you threw me the link to this study, I think it was, I learned that being a psychopath is kind of normal, and most of us have psychopathic traits. And I also discovered that there's different kinds of psychopaths. There's not like one clear cut type. So I think we all kind of fall into that umbrella of what a psychopath is. So that's kind of scary. I didn't know that
Mm-hmm.
there was levels to it. I didn't know that there was like severity to it. Like you could be a criminal psychopath, but there's levels to it. So there was just a lot of things that kind of blew my mind, and it was a lot to take in, even though it was a short article. So I kind of do want to throw that disclaimer out there that I did just read that one, and then I kind of read another one that almost kind of said the same thing. So I was like, okay, they don't know what they're talking about either. Then, because that's another thing that I've discovered out of doing all this research is that these professionals and doctors and everything, they don't want to commit to something. They don't want to say like it's this and it's clear cut. They kind of just throw like a broad umbrella of what it could be. So they don't want to commit to something. So I mean, it's made me feel weird to do this research and be like, okay, so they don't know more than I know, or at least they don't want to commit to what it is, which was interesting. But so far, yeah, we're all psychopaths. I know
Hmm.
I have some of the traits, and I know that I think it's the lack of controlling these traits or these thoughts. I think that's what makes the difference between what they call a functioning psychopath. Like I said, there's many different kinds. There's different labels to it. There's different levels to it too. So we'll get into that. I don't know if you're ready to throw up the link or talk about what you found.
Well, I am trying to drop a link into the chat, and it won't let me.
Okay, I'll do it.
So, yeah, when this episode drops, I will provide links to these articles and the articles that he checked out so that you guys can check them out for yourselves. But we should say a disclaimer. Okay, we are not professionals. We're not studying, in the psychiatry field or anything like that. Like, these are just based off of what we read and just our opinions on it. And we might even talk about our own experiences with people that we believe to be psychopaths and, psychotic tendencies, right? Because they're trying to all make us fucking feel like that. But we're gonna talk about it. These are just discussions. It's an open topic, and you can say whatever the fuck you want, but watch what you say, because you just might be labeled a psychopath. So yeah. So okay. Why don't we go back and forth, and we can respond accordingly, and tap it back if we need to. So the article that I read, it's quite a disturbing article, because first of all, it shot to my email, right? And in the email it says, could there be upsides to being a psychopath? And I'm like, excuse me? The hell did you say? And then so I started to read, and I will tell you guys, I did not read the entire article because I was getting pissed. And and the thing that I wrote down was, let's see, people who have psychotic tendencies have the ability to stay out of trouble and can benefit from these traits. Okay. Now, okay, psychotic tendencies, I have to read this again, can stay out of trouble and can benefit from these traits. The thing that comes to mind is, what, getting away with it? You know what I'm saying? Like, is that the benefit? That you are you're so psychotic, and like, you can just plot shit, act it out, do the crime, and be smart about it, and get away with it, because that's the only benefit that I see, unless it is somewhat of a survival thing, instead of it being a defense thing that you always say. Like, people get defensive and they feel like they gotta fight. But to me, it's like, yo, okay, I wouldn't call that psychotic or psychopath, it's that survival, right? Because you're knowingly doing something that you know is wrong, but you still tend to do it anyway. Now, you did say that there are different levels to that. So, is there, like, what would you like to weigh in on, what, like, with a level or levels that you wrote down that could possibly align or make sense of what the notes that I wrote down?
Well, you spoke about when they said that, how could it benefit, right? Or how they made it sound like it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
What they were talking about was in a professional setting. There is such a thing as a professional or businessman psychopath. I don't know if this is a true thing, but since it was in the article, and the article seems to be written by somebody that studies psychology, I'm just going to go ahead and believe that it's a real label. So there's a business. So pretty much what they're saying is, like, there's CEOs, people that are out there, they don't care who they have to step on to get to the top. That's basically what they qualify as a psychopath now. So, but they're saying not all psychopaths are criminals. Not all psychopaths are violent. So it could just be that you don't care about who you step on to get to the top, or what you have to do to get there, as long as you're not breaking any laws, such as killing someone, or that type of stuff, hurting someone physically to to the top. Basically, you're fearless and you're a risk taker. Is another thing, another trait of this businessman psychopath, or as I think it was successful psychopath. That's the label of it, of a person this way. So they're saying that those are good traits to have. They're saying that those are the people that are successful in business because they really don't care. They're not empathetic to other people's needs. Which, if you're building a business and you have somebody that's like that, that's a successful cycle, is what they called it. You're gonna get a good business, right? You're gonna feel like, oh, this is the person that I want on my team. This person's gonna get me to where I want to get to, the success that I want. The business, a successful business, that's what I want. So I need somebody that doesn't care. Pretty much cutthroat. We've all heard that, right? Cutthroat. So that's what they're calling a successful psycho, or a businessman psychopath. And that's what they're talking about when they say, there could be benefits to this.
See, that's kind of where I disagree, because why can't it just be someone that is driven? Why can't it just be someone that's aggressive? Someone, that's what you call entrepreneurship. But they're making it sound like, oh yeah, like it's good to be a psychopath. But I don't like that. But what I did write from what you said about a businessman, okay, so this is what came from the article, is that, okay, a study was done around like a businessman profile. For instance, they appear to be normal. They work hard. They have trouble in their, let's say, like their marriages. They can't commit. Their callousness, drinking, risk taking. Okay, so let's break it down. Callousness. And if you look up the word callousness, it says insensitive, cruel, cruel disregard of others. That's callousness. And marital, what is this? I can't read my own writing. But anyways, is the act of being unfaithful. Infidelity, excuse me. So marital infidelity, act of being unfaithful. Now, yes, he works hard, and maybe it's like, okay, he fucked up and married the wrong person. Okay, he could be acting on regretting being married, and it just turned him to be unfaithful. Okay, maybe his wife is a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Okay, drinking. You could be just stressed out, or you just want to chill and have a beer and a sandwich. You know what I'm saying? The risk taking. Maybe he's just someone that wants to take a chance. You know what I'm saying? Like a risk taker, right? That's what it is taking a chance. Let's see. Some people are risk takers because they want a thrill, confident. They want to be confident. They have that, oh, what the hell? You only live once. And alcohol will do that to you. Callousness. Again, we all have that don't give a fuck attitude, but does that make us violent when it could just be stress? And if you look up the definition of psychopath, it is a person that is affected by chronic mental disorder with abnormal or violent social behavior. Okay, so is drinking and being a risk taker and having, being stressed out from, for example, your marriage, like, I don't believe that to be all psychopath. Because again, a psychopath is a person affected by chronic mental disorder with abnormal or violent social behavior. See, and I believe that definition to be true, because all of these other things about a businessman, you're a businessman. You're working for a company. You don't like the people, the associates that you work with. You may not like your clients, and then when you get off from work, you go home to an ungrateful wife who's nagging at you, and you're looking at your mirrors like, damn, like I fucked up marrying this woman. I feel like she lied to me, whatever. So you want to get away, get out, go have a drink or two. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like, hey, like, yo, you're off tomorrow. Let's go to Vegas. Oh, what the hell? That is taking a risk of you making your wife mad, or you being hungover the next day, trying to return back to your job. And I may be saying this mildly, but I don't believe those things to be psychotic behavior.
Well, in the earlier studies, the reason why they came up with it was a dangerous criminal type archetype, right? In their studies, it showed because they were studying prisoners. They were studying people that had already broken the law, and those were the people that they were kind of building this checklist on. So, yes, if you go to a prison and you study criminals, you're gonna think, well, they all have these traits, so let's just call them this. I think that's what this psychologist, I think, what was his name? Harvey something? I forgot
Yes.
his name, but it was Harvey something. He did a study on that, and he was studying prisoners. So of course, and we see it in the movies all the time too, right? That's kind of what they talk about, or they label a psychopath, someone that's violent, has a criminal past, or is a serial killer. But if that's what you're studying, then of course that's where you're gonna see it. It's until you venture out, which is what I think they did in later studies, and I think it was in 2014 or 2016 that they started talking to students, and they started talking to other psychologists that were studying these traits, and they were saying, well, this qualifies as a trait, and this does too, and then when you combine this and this, such as what to say, aggressiveness and boldness, risk taking. So all these things, they're not saying like if somebody's a risk taker alone, that makes them a psychopath. But if they're a risk taker and they're bold and they're mean, then that qualifies them as psychopath. So they had to broaden the spectrum as to what to call a psychopath and what not to. And that's what this study was talking about.
Yeah, but see, the thing is though, is that I feel like they're trying to enable the research that they've done on con artists, right? Like people that are inmates, and it's like, okay, if you want to do a proper test, which I'm pretty sure that they've done, is a person that is an active inmate to somebody that is out on parole. Okay, they're comparing these criminals to a business person. And it's like, what is the comparison? Because you cannot compare someone that's actually taken a life and somehow was able to get out on parole and be out on good behavior, right? When he actually fucking killed a life or SA'd somebody or DA'd somebody, to a hard-working businessman See, like that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, if they're trying to use these studies to do a collective type of research, I think it's bad because it's like, yo, you're making it as if, or you're trying to condition everyone into thinking that being psychotic, if you have these traits, any one of these traits, oh, you're a psychopath. Like that, like those are psychotic tendencies that you have. And I just don't, I don't buy it, because it's like, dude, like you really are trying to make people almost kind of like confess. Like, I was watching a video of a guy, he's some kind of driver, and he was like, yo, avoid answering these 3 questions when you get pulled over by a cop. And they're trick questions, and you're scared when you get pulled over because you got the law parked right behind your ass. They have your eye on you. They have cameras on you. You know, they're tapping your vehicle to put their fingerprint on your vehicle. And that's the shit that we never knew was happening. But it's like, oh, like, where you coming from and where you going? Or do you know why I pulled you over? Like, see, like, and it's like a whole ass confession, and you just confess because their body cam and the cameras on their vehicle, on your vehicle, and they're watching your every movement, whatever. But it's kind of like they're trying to get you to confess that you have felt that way before, just to get you to say and think that you are psychotic. Because when you look at all of these things, and like what was one of the things that I read that I thought was bullshit, was they were like, what the hell did they say? Let's see. Okay, they said it themselves. They said that we're like in the beginning stages of knowing what a real psychopath is. But I mean, we just said that before we kicked on the mic, was that they write these whole articles, right? And they're not providing answers. Like, it's, you read the article and the only thing that you receive is that you're a psychopath when you're trying to read about other people. But come to find, they twist that shit to make you the psychopath. And it's like, yo, that's psychotic. This article is psychotic. Because don't narcissists do that? Don't people that manipulate do that? Where they flip the script on you, and or they're saying, yo, what are the benefits to being a psychopath? See, and people that read this article are questioning themselves, and they're probably people that already suffer from depression. Grabbing a hold of this article and reading it and being like, oh my God, I should check myself into a psych ward. You know, even if they went to a doctor, you know, a psychiatrist, and was like, yo, I read this article about, you know, this, and I'm worried because I have felt these things before. Does that make me a psychopath? And I've been to a psychiatrist before. If you mention that, you know, you see spirits, or you see things, but see, to them, they see that as like you're seeing a mirage, or you're seeing something from you're creating something with your imagination, or you're hallucinating. That's the word. You're hallucinating. And see, you just signed a paper saying that if the psychiatrist that you are assigned to, if they feel like you're not right, they can admit you. So, knowing what me and Rob see, because, you know, we see stuff, right? We and they're spiritual. It's not harming us. We just see them. We don't act on those things other than in prayer or meditation, but it's not making us harm ourselves or others. But if a psychiatrist felt that, oh, these motherfuckers are crazy, yo, I have this piece of paper that they signed before they sat on my couch. And yeah, they're not right. Take their asses away and medicate them. And to them, it was like, yo, what the hell did I say to get here? But they're making it sound like you're the problem. And that if you don't accept that, if you don't accept this list of the psychotic traits, and if you don't own up to any one of them, and you still deny yourself, no, I'm not psychotic, they'll probably admit your ass. Because, people should admit, what their ills are, or they're just scared, and we have to make them unscared and just admit that they're psychotic. They're psychopaths. It says so right here in the article. And it was written by someone that has a degree or has their book out on fucking Kindle. And it's like, anyone can do that. I could write a book and publish it on Kindle. But supposedly these are respected psychiatrists that have a piece of paper on the wall in a frame. But it's like, yo, you don't see that this article, or any article that touches bases on this, they talk your ass into it. And then it's like, yeah, so you're a psychopath. Accept it. I don't believe that. I don't give a fuck about their studies. I don't give a fuck about what they say. All I see is that it's trying to convince you, other people, that being this way and having these actions is okay. Sure, we all get mad. Sure, we all, act out, we scream or whatever. And of course, you have people like, our exes accusing us like, damn, like, why are you screaming at me? Or I don't understand what the big deal is. Why aren't they labeled as psychopaths? Because they have no, what did we just read? That they have no sympathy. They don't understand. Oh, but we're all psychopaths. That shit don't fucking make no damn sense to me.
Yeah, it did kind of sound and feel like they were trying to normalize the acceptance of psychopath tendencies in all of us. And, I mean, I know that you and I have talked about this before, where we've said, I think you asked me, or you told me that I don't get mad. And I think the difference between me and a violent psychopath is that I put my anger into something productive, versus someone who commits a crime and ends up in jail. They put it in the wrong. I think there was a trait, and I don't remember what the name of it was, but not being able to control your anger is one of the traits of a psychopath, right? And not giving a shit about who you take it out on or what you take it out on, where you direct your anger. So it just seems like what they did was they took this path, and they were like, okay, well, let's just make it a little bit wider to fit more people into it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, like, that's the part that I don't understand. Why are they trying to normalize being a psychopath? And okay, if it is a normal thing by itself, like I think they said being mean is one of them. They were trying to add boldness to it, right? Being bold and not really being afraid to take action, to be a leader, quote unquote. they were trying to include that, and throughout the study, they were like, yeah, maybe not, because of it doesn't make you bad, or it doesn't make you bad enough to be bold, because there's a limit to that. You know what's right and what's wrong. I think the difference between that and the old school psychopaths, or what they would call a psychopath before, is that they don't care. They lack the empathy. They don't care who they hurt. So that's the difference. We all have the trait, but we don't all act on it. So there is a difference. And for them to broaden the scope and be like, oh, well, now this makes you a psychopath, and then there's a successful psychopath, and all these different new terms that they're throwing out there, or new categories of it, that's what I have an issue with. Because I'm like, okay, so you want to make being a psychopath normal. Then why not just call that a normal person? Why do you have to label it a psychopath?
Correct.
It's almost like they want to keep us on the verge of something. Because honestly, we're all a bad decision away from being a criminal. We're all one bad decision away from committing a crime and ending up in jail, going to prison. We've seen it in movies. We hear about it all the time. How, say you get pulled over by the cops and you weren't wearing your seatbelt, but then somehow by talking to them, it escalates to something else, and either you end up getting shot, or you end up in jail for something that you had no idea was even a crime. So it's too broad of a spectrum now for me, for me to be comfortable in this, because it's like, okay, so then now that I'm a psychopath, now that you've labeled me a psychopath, let me see, I think there was a soulmate psychopath and all kinds of weird names now. There's a saint psychopath, situational psychopath, the bad boy has always been a psychopath apparently, and the paranoid psychopath. Now that I fit into at least one of these things, now what? Now,
yeah, like what's the next step? Like, what's
exactly.
next?
So now that you've put this label on me, if I do something that to you is wrong, because see, this is what these studies do. This is just opinion. That's what I was talking about when I said that these so-called experts don't want to commit to anything, because it makes it seem like, well, this is just my opinion. But your opinion matters. It carries weight, because anything that you say and get a couple more of your what are they called? Not coworkers, but people in the same level as you. There's a word for it. My brain is fried. I can't think of it right now. Get a couple more doctors to say yes, that is wrong, and then now you find yourself, like you said, in a psych ward or in a jail or anything that makes you quote unquote a bad person. So it just doesn't make sense to me. If psychopath isn't a bad thing anymore because we all fall under that umbrella, then let's call it something else. Because it doesn't matter how you painted a psychopath, and just that label carries a bad image. You're labeled a psychopath, then to a lot of people, you're bad. You've done something bad. You're a serial killer waiting to happen.
Honestly, I would like to ask these individuals the precise description or meaning of the word psychopath. Because they said it's a chronic illness in your behavior. You know what I'm saying? So it's like something totally fucking wrong upstairs that should be very fucking obvious, not just based upon you just being mad. You know what I'm saying? But, since you were calling me a psychopath, maybe I am, because I do get into road rages, right? If I seen anyone in road rage, hell yeah, I'm being like, yeah, there goes a fucking psychopath out there on the loose, and it's like me saying that to myself, right? But I'm not trying to excuse my behavior, because first of all, it is not safe. Okay, it's not safe to drive this way. I should be a peaceful person. I should choose, safety first. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to excuse my behavior. But for me, okay, you mentioned that psychopaths feel like, okay, they don't feel bad for anyone. Right? I would think or hope to a certain degree, because I want you to have, even though you're a psychopath, I want you to have some type of human feelings, right? Like some kind of empathy in you for other people. But I'm taking a chance. So when I have road rages with people, I know what the fuck I'm doing. It's not like I'm blacking out. And this happened to me yesterday. It was getting dark. I was driving home. A motherfucker had its brights on me. And me, I dim my brights. But if you don't dim your brights, as you're driving up to me, I will turn on my brights. And this motherfucker stops his car. I don't know if he stopped, but he put on his brakes. As soon as I saw him put his brakes, I put my brakes. And I sat there watching this motherfucker like he's gonna brake his car, like he's gonna do something. And we're in the middle of the desert. I'm on a dirt road and he's on a dirt road. That's why for me, it's kind of like, okay, that may not have been the right thing to do. I don't suggest people do this. I know what the fuck I'm doing, because what the fuck is he gonna do? It's illegal to drive with your fucking brights on. It is illegal. Okay, so not only is he breaking a law, but I have a fucking camera in my car that proves that he did not dim his brights. So what the fuck is he gonna do? So he stops, trying to intimidate me, trying to scare me, and I'm sitting there like waiting for this motherfucker to put his car in park, get out, approach my vehicle. Bro, I am right and you are wrong. You are trying to scare me and you're not. So, for me, if a fight broke out, okay, again, call me a psychopath, because psychopaths, they don't care what happens. They don't care. Yeah, they like some psychopaths may feel more for themselves of their safety than yours or other people, but most of all, they will fight to the death. Someone's gonna die. One of us isn't gonna make it home. But for me, it's like, yo, I'm not wrong. So I stayed parked there, he stayed parked there for a long minute. See, it's that intimidation that these psychopaths try to do to get any kind of one up on somebody. Cutting off somebody on the freeway when there are 4 other fucking lanes open on the highway, but you choose to ride my ass. Like, yo, I'm already going over the speed limit, and there are other fucking lanes, but because you have a truck with your brights on, it's daylight, and you're driving like a fucking idiot with your brights on, and you're trying to shine your light into the back of my window. You're trying to scare me. You're trying to make me move out of the way, but nah. You can go around. But see, to me, that's psychotic. I don't drive that way. I don't ride up on people. I may say stuff like, dude, why don't you guys move? Yeah, I say stuff, but I guess that's what makes me psychotic. I guess. But yo, you cannot blame me for yelling at somebody behind my dashboard when the speed limit says 65 and you're going 50. yes, you're gonna get mad. And you're gonna be like, what the fuck? That's everybody. So, does that make us psychopaths?
That's why I said there's levels to it. Like, okay, the initial, like your initial response, I guess if it would have stopped there, then yeah, people would have been like, oh, that dude's a psycho for driving that way, but I think when you reacted the way that he was reacting, and you guys were just having a standoff, basically both doing the same thing, then people would be like, well, you're both psychopaths because you're both doing the same thing. You're acting like they are.
But I would be like, so what he's done is legal.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Oh, no. That's what I would say to those people. I'd be like, yo, you know that he's not supposed to be driving like that with his brights on. Because that's another illegal thing. If you are a pedestrian walking, you're supposed to dim your lights when you're facing each other. But you see the person, but you choose not to dim your lights. You are purposely blinding that person. And you never know, they could get seizures from bright lights. So when if that person does have a seizure, you see them fall to the ground, they're freaking out, and what, you're just gonna keep going? Because you know you did not dim your lights, and you're like, oh shit, I don't know if I did it. You're running away like a fucking coward. Psychopath.
Yeah, lack of empathy, that's what makes him a psychopath.
Exactly.
In the old studies. But now in the new studies, it's kind of like, well, his behavior, how does your behavior match his?
Like, oh, that person is a psychopath because what pedestrian, see, this is them talking. What pedestrian walks on a dirt road that has no street lights? Walking along a dirt road with no flashlight, with no reflectors on. There's no street lights. At that time of night, yeah, that person's a psychopath. It's like, you don't know if the bitch's car ran out of fucking gas or the battery died and she don't have it. Maybe her cell phone died and she's just trying to find someone to help her. What about that? Is she a psychopath then? Because, what, she didn't think ahead? Shit happens. And just magically, she's prone to having seizures. So who's a real psychopath? Motherfucker saw her collapse but kept driving. But he's going to be like, oh, no, I didn't see her. Bullshit. And the bitch was wearing white shorts on. You didn't see her. Yeah, okay. See, like what about those scenarios? And, of course, they're not going to think about it because they're too busy trying to be in a real, actual psychopath's head. And they're trying to figure out what made this person click. And go off over the fucking edge. And it's just like, yo, you're looking at the crime that got them in behind bars. But what about their childhood?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what about all the people that were involved in their lives? Or maybe their father was a psychopath themselves and he just happened to act up on that shit. But, like, oh yeah, there's something that's called successful psychopaths. What? Motherfuckers that don't get caught? Is that what you're talking about? Because that would be his pops. Maybe you should lock his ass up in jail. Oh, well, he needs to do some kind of crime.
Well, we know that there's businessmen and corporations that do commit crimes. They just don't get caught. Or they don't go to jail, even if they do get caught. Because there's loopholes to everything.
So they're successful psychopaths.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that all businessmen are this way or that they all display those traits, the traits that they were talking about. I'm just saying that's what they qualify now as a psychopath or successful psychopath, because I guess somehow labels matter. Like I said, any kind of, you could put any other pretty word in front of psychopath, but when you put psychopath into somebody's label or title, then that's what people are going to think about. But see, it's almost like they're trying to normalize these behaviors, being cunning, being like what did they say? It wasn't attention, not attention seeking. It was fearlessness and um what was the other one? There was another trait that they named that now there was. I know that boldness was one of them. Um, I don't know. Can't think right now. I don't know. I can't find it either. I don't know. The point is, they're trying to make it normal, and it's like, okay, well, if that's gonna be the normal, then take away the criminal aspect of it, because people still think of psychopaths as serial killers and people that just are prone to committing crimes. And what's a crime nowadays? Anything is a crime. Like, for instance, did you see where they said that they're dominance? Dominance is a trait, apparently. Fearlessness. So what they were saying is that in a 2018 study, it showed that first responders were scored high in the levels of psychopathy, because it includes fearlessness, dominance, and risk taking. Sensational seeking, like you're trying to you run to a burning building. Does a normal person do that? Are they doing it because of the thrill of going into a burning building that anything could happen, or are they doing it because they're trying to save people? There's so many variables, so for them to just throw a label out there like that, that's what I was talking about. I have an issue with, but who am I?
Yeah, I don't know. It's what people do on social media is just, yeah, it is what people capture, and not just capture on things on camera, but it's like people doing the act, just for the likes, just for the follows, the shares, and the comments, and the followers, and the Snapchats, and the like the praise, it's the attention makes them do psychotic shit, huh?
Instant gratification.
Yes. And not even thinking about, oh, what if I fall? You know what I'm saying? Excuse me. I just burped. You did it. I did it too. But yeah, it's just like, what do you call that? Because you're looking at inmates. These motherfuckers are caught. They don't need to be studied. Like, they're fucking crazy. They did the act. Yes, they're psychopaths. What more needs to be studied? You need to study these people that are big on social media. You look at Big Al, like, see, you saw that fucking heifer yourself, okay? And it's like, I don't know if you got into any of her videos, but like, this bitch is psychotic. Like, she is, because she validates all her bad behavior. She's trying to justify and make excuses after excuses. She's manipulating her audience. She can cry on cue, with and without tears. Like, she could be crying like, oh, I miss my girlfriend, and then all of a sudden she's just like, yeah, I'm gonna do Legos. Legos. Like, and McDonald's. Cheeseburgers. And it's like, who the fuck is gonna do the case study of this bitch? And like, nobody says, like, okay, people speak up and say things, but you have people that are in her chats. They're so-called professionals, and again, people on the internet, they can lie and pose and be like, oh yeah, like I'm a counselor, I'm a psychiatrist, I'm a weight loss surgeon. Anybody could say whatever they want to be. Don't mean that that's what they are. Like they'll call themselves professionals just so that their comment means the most. That's why, and I understand that kind of trolling. Maybe Big Al does too, because she gets on there to say, you know what, like, I don't need professionals telling me what to eat and what not to eat because I'm crying, I'm learning, I'm coloring. And I don't want to hear it from any professional. Like, she says that. And it's like, okay, I get it. Bitch, if you have your own psychiatrist, if you have your own weight loss surgeon, your own primary doctor, then yes, you should not be taking advice from people that you don't know off the internet. Okay, I get it. But she does not have any respect for anybody in the medical field. And she wants to eat whatever the fuck she want to eat. Which she can, if she wants to, but it's just that she is a psychopath. And I'm not going to get into it with that fucking buffalo way the fucking Kuwait. I'm not. I don't want to go there. But these bitches are psychotic. And yes, I do fat shame. And my excuse is that these bitches are terrible. They are narcissists. They manipulate their audience. They lie to fit whatever fucking narrative that they're going for that day. They're fake crying. See, and they know what they're doing. So me fat shaming isn't gonna do shit to them, because these bitches know that they're fat. Okay, they know that they're big women, whatever. They don't take care of themselves. Fucking Big Al, she admits to not taking showers. Okay, and the buffalo, she did exactly what that other YouTuber guy did. She sticks her finger in her belly button and she sniffs it. This bitch farts and shits herself on camera. It's disgusting. So you cannot say or tell me that these bitches are not psychopaths. But it's like, yes, you can't really diagnose somebody if they are not volunteering to that. But it's just like, yo, if any of these bitches got a hold of this article, they would feel like everything that the article said, they would accept it. But even if you turn that around, like, yo, Big Al, I thought you weren't gonna take any professional's advice, but yet you're listening to these doctors that written an article. They didn't even make a YouTube video about it. It's just an article. What, because you needed it on paper that specifically says, and that you could screenshot and include it in your video of gluttony? See, like, I could definitely see people like them accepting their jobs even more as YouTubers to do the shit the fuck they do on the camera. It's not right. And I don't think these doctors were even thinking when they published these articles that, yo, when if these articles get into the wrong fucking hands? Like, where's that article? Where's the disclaimer before, middle, and after? Oh, but what are the benefits? You could know the benefits of being, a psychopath. These are the benefits. Manipulation, narcissism, playing victim. Oh, these are all good traits. These are the plus signs. These are the green lights to being a psychopath. Fuck out of here with that shit. Would you like to add anything else more to this before we go on break?
No. I don't know if you wanted to talk about Cardi Russell on this.
Who?
Cardi Russell.
Who's that?
She faked her.
Oh, duh. The yeah. What I put into the folder.
Yeah.
Yes. We will talk about that when we come back, if that's okay. I need to get some
Yeah.
water, that's why. I'm sorry, baby.
Yeah. No, it's cool.
All right, you guys. We will be right back to that. What was her name?
Harley Russell.
Yeah, she was hot. She was actually on the Fox Soul. They were talking about her, and I didn't get to hear it. I didn't read the article, but it did kind of touch bases with something that Rob mentioned, and I just thought that we would briefly talk about it. I know I didn't do my research on it. I don't know if you did, but it's just the act of it. That's what I'm gonna focus on, and the article and shit. Yeah, I could get into that as to why she felt like she had to do it, but it's still wrong. But we will talk about that when we come back. So stay tuned. Yo, we are back. Okay, so you want to kick this one off?
Sure. Speaking about psychopaths, This apparently, and I don't know who she is. If there's fans of her out there, don't come for me. This is just what I saw today, and I thought it was interesting. Apparently, this female named Carly Russell faked her abduction. Apparently, she was missing from July 13th. I don't know when she was found or any of that. I didn't read the article, but yeah, it was all a hoax. I think there was people I did read, or not read, but I guess in the comment section they were saying that people thought she was faking it. People were already talking about, and I think somebody did call her a psychopath. They were like, "Oh, this psychopath was faking it the whole time, and we called it. We knew that." So I don't know. I don't know who she is. Like I said, I don't know if she's a TikTok star, an influencer, or whatever. But apparently, she is known by some, and they've already labeled her a psychopath. So I felt like it fit in with this whole article that we were reading and kind of researching. Because again, so if being a psychopath now doesn't qualify as, like, it's not criminal, right? But did she commit a crime? What she did, was that a crime to fake, I guess, an abduction?
Yes.
So then she should be put in jail, which is something else that the commenters were saying, that she should be in jail. She shouldn't just get a slap on the wrist and, like, swept under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all I know. I don't know who she is, and I didn't do more research because it was kind of late when I got that message too.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead.
First of all, she's a bitch. And second, yes, it's no fucking different than these fucking stunts that these people do for social media. It's pointless. You're mocking real victims that are still missing. It is just for attention. And the thing that makes me kind of upset is that the picture that they're using to promote this story, she's like all dolled up, glammed up in a pink dress, pearls on her neck, her a weave on with her baby hairs laid down. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just like, the fuck? Did you do this to promote your channel, to bring more attention? And it's just to feel like you are loved, just to make you feel important. Because when you look at how she poses in these photographs that the media is using, like, where the fuck is her mugshot? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's like the media is glorifying this person, this bitch. And like, what the fuck was done? Okay, so all right, you got your views. You got your followers. You got all of these things, right? And if we were, I'm not even gonna look for her social media, because I know I'm not gonna fucking like what I see. Okay, that's for true. Why the fuck would I'm already mad. What's the point of me getting angrier, right? But I am looking at the comments, and somebody said it was messed up how she accused a white man of kidnapping her, causing more racial tension. Okay. Another person said, the first step to healing, is telling the truth, but I hope you understand you made it hard for the next missing black person. Someone else said, well, she wanted attention, she got it, now she needs to be charged. Yes, I'm gonna tap the little heart. Let's see. I'm not going to get into that paragraph because it may or may not have anything to do with the story. Somebody said, girl, bye. Throw her under the jail. throw her under the jail. Like, you mean throw her in jail? I don't know. But it's just, man, like, and that's bringing us to the next topic. And may I suggest, do not support this piece of shit of a person. Do not support this piece of shit. Do not give her any likes or follows or anything. And because what she did was not right. It just wasn't. She's mocking real kidnapped victims, missing persons. She's a piece of shit. So I would say don't support her. You can read up on the story or whatever. Yes, your own opinions are your own, but what she did was wrong. Fight with me, and you can fight with all these other people as well. Okay, that think the same shit. But yeah. So do you want to kick off the TV show?
Speaking of psychopaths and attention seekers, now, I guess I should give a disclaimer before we get into all of this shit, because it's kind of a lot. And I guess I don't want people to think that I'm victim shaming. That, yes, I understand she was a victim of someone who lied to her, cheated on her, manipulated her. I do understand all that. What I don't agree with is what's happened since, because of, I guess we'll get into all that, but we're talking about a show called Betrayal. From what I understood, it's about a man who, I guess he was in a position of power. He was what was he? I think he was a teacher.
Yeah, well, he started out as a cameraman, and then he got into teaching video. Though. Yeah, he got into teaching video production in a high school.
Right, and then he was in band, and then he was a coach, and then he was all these things, right, with students. And I think the first time that they talked about him was they were both in college, right? So they were both of age. Mm-hmm. Because that's another thing that I feel like this show didn't provide any background story other than the first episode was about their love story. So they gave, like, I think the full episode was about how they met. It wasn't, and again, they didn't go into any details of, like, oh, they were teenagers and they were sweethearts and they met each other in high school and then they reunited in college or anything like that, other than they were in college, they were dating, and she broke up with him because he was a senior while she was a sophomore or something?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, so in her senior year, she decided to break up with him. And they lost connection, they lost touch. I think she ended up going to LA. They're from where? Georgia, I think?
Yeah, I don't recall.
And she moved across country to work in television. I guess she wanted to be a television producer or something. She worked with Judge Judy and on, what was it, Extreme Makeovers or something?
Yeah.
And so she was living her dream, I guess, right, to be on TV or to be behind the scenes but still working some kind of TV production. And then, do you want me to get into the full story?
Yeah, whatever, it's fine. Just whatever you choose, and then, yeah.
While he was still back in Georgia, he, I guess, met someone, started a life with her. I don't know how many kids they had, but they did have children, or a child. He married this woman. Apparently, from what I got from the show, he would talk about, I think her name is Jennifer. He would talk about Jennifer enough that his wife knew that he was gonna remarry, and it was Jennifer. So apparently he was talking about her through their marriage. I don't know or understand how or why, but that was happening. And then they met, or they reunited. I think they said it was 20 years later. and it was through Facebook. See why I don't like Facebook? See why Facebook is just for family? And then so they reunited. I think he was going through a divorce, so that's what he told her. Um, Magically, I think, or coincidentally, she was gonna be in New York, which is where he was at. I think he was teaching. He was teaching something. I don't remember what. But the same night that they reunited, went out on a date, and they ended up sleeping together. That's another thing. They did a hard jump cut there because I don't know how long they dated before they decided that they were gonna get married. I just know that when they talked to the parents, with her parents, the mom I think was the one that said she thought it was weird because of their age. I guess they were in their 40s already. She thought it was weird that he asked for her hand in marriage, but everybody said that he was like this perfect person, this perfect man, perfect boyfriend, perfect everything. Which to me, that's a red flag. And Audie sounded a little surprised when I said that because there's no such thing as perfect. I know that for us, we think that I think you're perfect. I think you're perfect for me. But I know that when I say perfect, I am being biased. There is no perfect. And the way that they were describing them, and I think they do this in most of these type of shows. They paint this picture of like a fairy tale wedding and the fairy tale marriage and the perfect husband and the perfect wife and all these things, right? But they fail to, I guess, explain when it was that they met, because to me that makes a difference. His upbringing makes a difference. What did he do other than get married? What did he do? What did that breakup do to him? Because it sounded to me like they were saying that it was devastating for him. Was that the reason why he lost his mind? Was that when he said, fuck it, and I'm just going to do whatever I want? Because I think there was a student that said that, right? Later on, we found out or something. But, okay, so what did that first breakup do to him? After that, I think he joined the military. He joined, like, some kind of scouts. I think it was Eagle Scouts or something. Everybody was calling him perfect. Again, that to me was a red flag. And I think she was single for 20 years. She said that she dated, but that she was looking for her soulmate. Which to me, that was a red flag too. Like, I don't know, waiting 20 years to find a soulmate, and he was it. I don't know, something about that. Like, there's a lot of things from her that just didn't sit right with me from the beginning, and I said this before we got deeper into the show. And shit, I still don't know what it was. Something, she's keeping something, and of course she has control of what they publish, what they show on the show. I think she was an executive producer, so again, she has control of what they show. They're not going to show her in a bad light.
Of course not.
They portrayed her as like a complete victim, which another thing I don't believe in. And again, I don't want to victim shame or sound like I'm victim shaming, but again, there are red flags that sometimes we choose to ignore. So we have to take responsibility and accountability for that action, because our actions have consequences. Did she miss flags that he was putting out there that he had these tendencies? And I guess we'll get into all that after you give me your opinion on the first episode. Because from the first episode, I wanted to get a full background on both of them, and I didn't. All I got was, like I said, the fairy tale story of, them being together and him being perfect, and them reunited after, 20 years, and it was like, okay, how the fuck did he grow up? Tell me what happened. I need to know why he flipped out. But go ahead.
Okay, from episode 1, 2, and 3, I didn't like the bitch all the way through. Okay, and the first episode, my whole thing was, okay, if he was just the perfect guy, you know, oh, it was the way he looked at me. It was what we've done together. And just the little things that he does. It just made him so wonderful. Like, everybody liked him. If you needed a couch to be moved, like, oh, he was right there to help. He was just Prince Charming and all of this. Okay? So, you've pretty much dated this guy all through, you know, college for I don't know if it was a year or how many, like couple years or whatever. I don't remember. I was just it didn't make sense. But
that's what I meant. They didn't cover that part.
Right, like how long did it end, or how long was it? And for her to be like, oh well, he was leaving college, he graduated, and I still had another year to go. But, you know, I just really wanted to be out on my own, you know? Like, I just wanted to just enjoy. Just enjoy being a college girl. And just be single. And, you know, I just wanted to find myself. You know, like, just, yeah, as an individual. You know, and it's just like, you know, people, of course, people are gonna bite because people want that independence, right? They want that independency. You know, and okay, bitch, you went to school, to college, to be a producer. That's why you were able to produce Judge Judy, the extreme makeover show. Of course, you're gonna know the tactics of dictating, directing this entire Betrayal docuseries. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, are you using this tactic? Okay, it's a trick to kind of be like, yo, I just wanted that independence. You know, like you're trying to put it into women, or, you know, younger women, to have that independence. You know what I'm saying? And I just felt like, yeah, give me the ass pats, because that's just really what I needed in college, right? So that part didn't sit with me, because it's like, girl, just say it. You know, are you not specifying or revealing what he's done, how he treated you, because what, the motherfucker's out of prison now, and you don't want him to see the show and come after you? Because if it's about your safety, well, because you're banking off of this show on Hulu, and you're banking off of your so-called podcast that's gonna so-called help people, but it's to feed your fucking bruised ego and your traumas. It's gonna pay for your traumas. Is that what this is? Because it's almost like, just tell us. Was the motherfucker clingy in college? Like, was he just like so obsessed with you, like, oh, I can't let you out of my sight because I'm like so in love with you, like I'm into you, like I know you, you're my person, you're the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. Like, you don't just be like, oh, I want to explore like myself. Like, that's just, man, cut that shit out. So, okay, you lived your life, you know, you dated, you moved across the country, or just, I don't know, you know, doing Judge Judy, these reality TV shows, you know, you're making bank and still in the process of trying to find the right one. And every now and then you think about Spence. You don't call him Spencer, you call him Spence. So that's an indication that you still have feelings for this motherfucker, even after the 3rd fucking episode. Spence. No. So the first episode, I thought was bullshit. I thought she was a whole ass lie. It was just, you know, yeah, you know, drying the fake tears or whatever. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, she was crying, but I just wasn't like you broke this man's heart. And I seriously doubt that she may or may not have given him an explanation, but I think she's trying to override the fact that I did break his heart, because never in the first episode, second episode, third episode did she admit or say like, I'm sorry I broke his heart, or I may have broken his heart. Like I even thought at one time that maybe I broke his heart. See, none of that she said. I was waiting for her to say that. To be like, oh, maybe it was me. Maybe I did this to him. Never did she say that. And when you look at his timeline, because after they broke up, yeah, that's when he went to the military. He got into a band. He wanted to teach video production. He got into, high schools, and he was, deployed. He would go back and forth. And people were like, yeah, in the military, like, he would, like, party it up, and, he went out with a couple girls, and, blah, blah, blah. It was almost like he was, here's this 40-year-old man, acting as if he was 20 again. And see, that was when they had their relationship, when he was in his 20s. So him acting out, after all of that, and just going out and having real fun, like, that's where the motherfucker got stunted, in my opinion.
Yes. I'm not saying that she did this to him. I'm not trying to at all paint him as like this saint, that he didn't do anything wrong. Of course he did. There's a reason why
she had a part of it, in my opinion, but go on.
The what?
She had a part in it.
But that's why I'm saying, like, they never covered that part. It was all, to me, it was all like, oh, she's the victim and these are his victims, and so again, I didn't learn anything from this.
Mm-hmm.
What are the signs of, what should we be looking out for? What were the red flags? Because I think they did kind of talk about they talked about what he was doing, but they didn't talk about, like, when they said that in his 20s. Okay, how soon after they broke up and he left school did he get married? Did he get a chance to live his 20s, and then he just didn't do it because he went to the military? There was no background on him almost at all.
See, so, I think that part was intentional on her part, that she didn't want to say.
Right, that's what I was thinking about. And I was like, okay, so we don't know what made him this way. She was talking to him, and I'm sure that because she did say that she was asking him why. But she was asking him why did he cheat on her? Why did he break up their marriage? Why did he do this to her? It wasn't, why were you this way? Why did you hurt these people? Why did you do what you did to them? It was all about her. And that went on throughout the whole show. So at some point I was like, okay, this is all just I'm the victim and poor me. Again, It sounds like I'm victim shaming. It sounds like I'm not admitting what he did to her was fucked up. It was. Everything that he did to her was fucked up. And I do understand how being devastated makes you do things that normally you wouldn't do. Such as, like, she did a deep dive on his Facebook. I think they said that she was stuck doing that for months. She wanted answers. I get that. At some point, I think she was about to lose the house too, because she wasn't working. She was just so devastated that she couldn't function. I understand that. So I'm not gonna say that she wasn't devastated and that it didn't affect her that much. Of course it did. It took a lot of years of her life too, right? Because she was with him for how many years? That's another thing that it wasn't clear. How long were they actually together? How long were they married for? She had this whole timeline, but didn't talk about what happened between them. It was all about what he did to these women, which, of course, trying to help people understand what to look for. And we didn't get that. I feel like we didn't get that until the last episode, maybe the last 10 minutes of the whole series, when one of the victims was talking about it. So to me, it just felt like, what the fuck is the point of the show? What was the point of the first 2 episodes when I didn't learn anything? Uh, like, I can't show this show to anybody and be like, look out for this.
Mm-hmm.
This is what you should be looking out for as a student. Because
she literally did not give us the red signs, because I don't think there was any, because he was able to do this to her for the whole 7 years of their marriage. She never said like, oh, when we have sex, we it wasn't passionate anymore, or it was more like, okay, hit it and quit it kind of shit. Like it wasn't like, oh, he started treating me different. Like, there was literally no flags other than what you said, was that, I think it's kind of creepy, or I think the father said, it's kind of weird how somebody's always leaving you love notes and letters and things like. That's why I'm like, how the fuck is that a red flag, unless he's saying some psychotic shit, when all it is, oh, have a beautiful day. Yo, if you need anything from the corner store, let me know and I'll snag it. Like, that's what his notes were, and I don't fucking find that psychotic. But can you explain why?
I can give you my opinion on it.
Okay.
To me, that's like, it sounds like someone is overcompensating for something that they're doing. Of course, he's not gonna tell her, hey, well, I cheated on you last night, so do you need anything from the corner store? Let me go get it.
So are you saying that he was using it to keep her at bay? Into keeping her thinking that, oh, he's not doing anything, he loves me, he cares about me.
I think what they call it now is love dumping. He would love dump, and he would, or what is it, love bombing?
Mm-hmm.
He would just drop all this love on her because he knew that what he was doing was fucked up. And it does keep him in that perfect husband zone to her and to the family. But like, and I told you from the beginning, from when they said that, and I said I took that as a red flag, the notes and him writing her letters every day for the month of her birthday. I was like, what the hell? It sounds like he's overcompensating for something. He must be doing something wrong. And then when the father or stepfather said it too, I was like, see, I'm not a psychologist, but I mean, I do pick up on some things. And again, her not mentioning almost anything. When you talk about the sex part, there had to be at least a point before he did all these perverted things where he tried to introduce it to her. She must have shut it down, and he was like, okay, so I can't approach her with my fetishes. I have to go elsewhere. Because I think from the studies that I've done on fetishes and stuff like that, that is how it starts. They try and introduce it to their partner, and when their partner feels offended and they're like, no, I don't want to do that. No, that's something that I'm never going to do. So they go outside of the marriage, they go outside of the relationship to fulfill their fantasies. So I feel like he must have said something to her about it, unless, and again, this is something that he didn't cover, unless he tried it with his ex-wife. She shut it down, and he felt like, no, this must be bad if my wife doesn't want to do it. So then he might not even have approached Jennifer that way. I don't know, because they didn't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
And of course they're going to say, well, he didn't want to participate in the docuseries, so we can't get his side of the story.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout the entire time that he was in prison or in jail, whatever, she was communicating with him. She was trying to get answers as to why he did that to her. She knew that she was doing this docuseries, right?
Mm-hmm.
She could have asked him, and maybe she did, but they didn't show it again. Why he did that to people? What made him do that? And if it wasn't that he just snapped one day, if it was something that he was born with, like these thoughts of what he was doing to these women, then they should have explained that. They should have he has to have talked to a doctor. Because wasn't there a psychologist too that was, I guess, analyzing them throughout the show? They were saying like some of the traits that he was displaying. She was naming him all kinds of labels and shit, but again, did they talk to him, or were they just getting his version from her? There was a lot of questions that. I'm sorry, what?
No, I was just saying that I didn't catch because I thought those men were first of all like his bandmates, people that he worked with, people that he like knew, and then I think it was I think like a police officer or somebody. So no,
That
I wasn't quite
that
sure.
one lady, the one lady
Oh,
doctor that was.
I think it was just based off of what Jennifer was telling them, and then her co-host as well.
Mm, okay. Again, they're not getting any his side of the story. Which I mean, when you do stuff like that to teenagers, then yeah, you don't get a side of the story. But why was she trying so hard to get an answer for herself, to get closure for herself? Because that's what it sounded like to me when she was going to jail and calling him. I think she was calling him. I don't know if she went to visit him or not, but she would call him and take his calls, and all the questions that she would bring up was, "Why did you do this to me? Why did you do this to our marriage? And I believed in you, and you lied to me." It wasn't, "Why did you do this to them? What made you feel like you could do that to a teenager? Why did you become a predator when it came to girls way younger than you? What was it that made you do that?" And again, we didn't get no answers to that. So I don't know. I just felt like I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to get more information off of this. Maybe it's in the podcast, and
Yeah.
this is the way to I guess get views and get listens and playbacks on her podcast. But again, it goes back to what we said. It feels like she's trying to capitalize on this. That's why it kind of does sound like I'm victim shaming because of what she's doing with it. She says that she's trying to bring awareness to, so that other people don't fall victim to people like him. But what are the signs? Again, maybe
Yeah.
I have to listen to the podcast in order to get the information. But at this point, based on the show, I don't want to. I don't even want to. I think
Yeah.
at first I was like, yeah, we should listen to her podcast. But now it's like, for what? To hear more sob stories on herself? More me type shit? I need information. I need answers. And I didn't get them.
Mm-mm.
And I didn't even get a taste of like, oh, if you listen to the podcast, we go more in depth with his behavior and the reason that what can make a person snap and what were the red flags that were ignored. Because even that simple act of taking responsibility and saying I ignored a lot of things,
Mm-hmm.
that it was never acknowledged. She never admitted to missing red flags or like I was so in love that I didn't pay attention. It was all
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, he was too perfect. There is no perfect. So remember how I was telling you? So he was perfect with her. He was perfect with her family. Perfect with his friends and bandmates. So where was he putting his anger? Where was all his aggression? Because people are aggressive. They have to put it somewhere. People are passionate. They have to put that passion somewhere.
Yeah, and
And if
he
you're not,
put it into sex. That was his problem.
exactly,
He was he was like a sexaholic.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying. He was putting it somewhere. They just didn't know where he was putting it. So when people, that's why I said from the beginning, that to me was a red flag. Anytime that somebody says someone is too perfect, like, okay, I know I say that you're perfect for me. I see your, I don't want to say flaws, but I guess flaws, right? Because again, you're not perfect.
You're
You
wrong,
know, be
but
like,
go
yes, I am.
on. I am perfect. Okay, let's get that correct. All right, go on.
But yes, I understand. I'm being biased when I say that.
Better. Go on.
I feel like I've been digging holes for myself all day today.
Perhaps, but go on.
No, I'm done.
Whatever. No, go on. Go on.
No, for real, I'm done. I just needed more, and I didn't get that. And I feel like it wasn't informative. It was more of a feel sorry for me type shit. Like I said, And maybe it's because they were underage and they didn't want to talk about it. So I'm not saying that she should have had all the victims on the show, but she did talk to one of them. She gave, I guess, a little bit of information on how he was grooming her and how she felt like he was a person of authority. So she didn't even know that she could say no. I get that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing, even with her, that didn't, again, I'm not trying to victim blame or shame or whatever, but how do you put up with that, or how do you do that for 3 years, 3+ years? I think she said it was 3+.
Mm-hmm.
At some point, there has to be responsibility for your actions. And yes, I understand she was 16 years old, so maybe at 19, maybe 20 years old, she decided to speak out. I know that she probably has, and I think she said it, that she has remorse because she feels like because she didn't speak out sooner, there was other victims. So I'm not trying to make it like, oh, they should have done more, because I know what it's like to be in a situation where you don't even see what's going on. You're blind to it. I get that part. But that girl, one of the victims, she did say that she felt wrong from the beginning. I feel like after a year, maybe 2 years, okay, I get that. But 3+, I don't know. Human behavior, I don't understand it.
My whole thing is I know sometimes the things that I say, it may come off as like victim shaming or whatever, but like, you can't always be looking at someone that first of all, we don't have all the answers, because everything wasn't provided even in 3 episodes. There was a lot of jump cuts. We didn't get the other side of the story. We don't know how this man was brought up from a child. We don't even know if he was introduced to sex when he was a child. You know what I'm saying? Like we didn't get any kind of that information. So I guess my disclaimer is that whatever I say because I believe that I have reason to say those things. And whatever you say, or even whatever she says, it would be like, okay, well, you should have, okay, get your production cap on, lady, and make another episode and another episode and another episode, and make this about them and not you, because there's a lot of like, okay, you did not give us the red flags that we as people, vulnerable people, that we do want to find the right one. We do want a white picket fence and a fairy tale type of wedding and marriage and relationship. You're not giving us those red flags, and the thing that I found disgusting, I don't know if you found this disgusting, but I felt like when she brought these victims on her show, on her podcast, it kind of seemed like she only brought them on to analyze them as, oh, what did Spence find so exotic and exhilarating and lovable and sexy about them? It wasn't about their story. I think it was more like, oh, I think she's a nice person. Oh yeah, she sounds beautiful. I can totally understand why Spence, fell in love with this woman over the phone or through photographs, or oh, I could tell that she has some type of sass and sexuality, and I feel like it was just more like, oh, so how did you guys have sex? Or what type of position did you guys do this, and how often did you do it? And did you like it? Did you like it? Did you explode? See, like I feel like that's the type of shit she was looking for to see what Spence liked in these women. I don't think it was like, oh, tell me everything that happened, like how he abused you, how he pursued you, and then turn around and be like, oh, well, did you like it? Because otherwise, why would these women be like, oh, I felt so loved, I felt so wanted, he made me feel sexy. And see, like, why would you say that? You know, and I always say it, you know, there's a certain way that you ask certain things, or you should say certain things. And I feel like this woman, when you watch the episode, we can even watch it again, and you could just listen to me and watch me get mad all over the fuck again. I'm gonna be like, see, right there, you know, cause she's leaning on the desk over her microphone and just being, you know, like, her questions kind of seemed awkward. It kind of seemed like of course, you know, and the lady, her co-host was like, oh my god, like, you're shaking, like, and then she's just like, yeah, I'm shaking, you know, and it's just like, stop yourself from doing this fucking episode. You know, like, hang up the call. Like what is this feeding you? You know, and it's like you want to know, like, his sexual desires, and you did not say how sex was with Spence. You didn't. All the only thing that we got from it was, you know, because I remember thinking to myself, like, okay, I don't think this dude's fucking her. So I could see why he's, you know, like, just all in with the other females. But the only proof of sexual intimacy that this woman had with Spence was that she got chlamydia. Okay, was the sex good? Was the sex bad? Like, you know.
She did say that, I guess, he was having sex with other women and then coming home and having sex with her.
Right.
I mean, obviously, that's obvious, right? Because he gave her an STD, but she was like, oh my god, you were having sex with other females and then coming home to me, like, wanting me. So it did kind of sound when she was asking the victims or the other females. Cause, see, that's another thing. I don't want to call them all victims, because the family friend, I guess it was Jennifer's friend, she knew what she was doing. The women that he met up at the bar, they knew. I think all the women knew that he was married.
Yeah.
They got swept off their feet because he was so charming, or whatever they said. He was so complimentary that, you know, somehow he blinded them. And to me, that's not a victim. The teenagers, yes. The students in the school, yes. But not all the females were victims. They knew what they were doing. The female that was married, who ended up telling her husband, and somehow the husband gave Spencer a pass. Like, he didn't go break his face open. Like, he was obviously charming and manipulative, right? But when she was asking the women, it did sound more like she was trying to compare herself, trying to see, like, what's wrong with me that he didn't want that from me. It wasn't trying to get their perspective or their side of the story, or even, like, having the victims speak out. Again, it was more of a comparison.
Yeah, that's what I found disgusting, and I could see it on her. You know, there was plenty of clips of her showing herself at the mic with you know, the voices of the victims in her podcast being recorded, and you know, just little sentences of their side of the story or whatever. But it was just the way that she was looking. Like, she just looked hella stressed. Yeah, of course sad, but it just it did seem like she wanted that comparison. And, you know, she went as far as making graphs and timelines and things like that. And it's just kind of like, bitch, like, you said that he even cheated on you on your first week that you guys were getting married. So it's like, that should be like an open and shut case. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you guys had a past. You guys were pretty much children when you guys first dated, and then you got separated, and he got married. He has kids, and you're still looking, and he reached out, and it's just like, man, like, what's with all this digging? It's just, and at the very end, she's like, oh, I never got my answer, and I'll never get my answer, and it's just like, no shit, bitch. Like, how many years did he serve, and you're still picking up his phone calls, and accepting and calling him, and all of that. And yeah, you say you're divorced, but you're still searching for something that he's pretty much over, not just because he got released or whatever, but he's probably going on doing the same shit. He ain't worried about you anymore. He had plenty of time to get over you in prison, and here you are, and I'm all in for, it was kind of like this. And there's this gentleman that I watch on YouTube. He goes by Funky Dineva. I've been watching him for years. He was covering a housewife. I think it was the Atlanta housewives, the housewives of Atlanta, excuse me. And he was saying that there was a woman that was divorcing her husband, and she didn't want it to be aired on the show. Like, she wanted a private divorce. And it's kind of like, yo, like, go ahead and get your coin, go ahead and air your divorce. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, yo, like, sometimes divorces cause you money. And it's like, get your coin from the divorce, from the TV show, from the network. Like go on, like, it's okay, it's costing you, your life is already out there, and go ahead and get your money. And that's what this bitch is certainly doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure she's getting coin from, being on Hulu. She's been in production. It's kind of hard for me to believe that this bitch ran out of money, working for Judge Judy and the Extreme Makeover. I don't believe that she had no money. I could believe that she didn't have enough to save the house, but she's certainly making bank now, whether it be from the TV show or her podcast. All right. And I'm pretty sure she's working. She has more credibility now. Not only her schooling, but her experiences on other shows. She's able to, travel and get recognition, and pulling in other victims. It's being an active, spokesperson. Of course, like, this is, and eventually, in the long run, it is filling her pockets, is filling her ego, that she is the victim. And I know I probably sound like a piece of shit, but nah, you need to watch the show, okay? And if you have suffered from anything like this in relation to these things, I would hope that you guys would see that the way that she handled these things with Spence. See, she's still comfortable calling him by the name that, that they were so playful, and that's disgusting. But, it's she feels comfortable to still call him Spence. Like, the motherfucker hurt you. Call him Spencer. His middle name and his last name. That and I hope you're still not carrying his last name, you know what I'm saying? But it's she's never gonna let go. You want to turn into the person that will let go, that will be strong and get the fuck over what a piece of shit has done to you. If a motherfucker hurt you and ruined your life, gave you bad credit, took all your money, ruined and broke things, and made you feel like you weren't shit, cheated on you, then why the fuck would you want to keep yourself in this circle? You want to get out. And she hasn't provided that. It was just, oh, this is my story, and yeah, this is it. No. Yes, you do need time to heal. You do need time to get better. But doing what she's done, like, you don't need to interview. Because how stupid would I look if I wanted to call all the chicks that my ex-dude was fucking, it would make me look stupid. Oh, why did he do that to me? Like, what was he saying to you? And did you guys have sex? And how many times did you do it? And oh, did he like it? Did he ejaculate? And the bitch could be like, oh yeah, he swallowed, or I swallowed. See, and it's like you're getting yourself mad, and you're looking like the dumbass because you're hearing things that he's doing with other females that you wish he'd have done with you. That's not healing. It's not. It's keeping you in the same spot. That's not healthy. So if you guys are going to watch the show, you know, I would say put your feelings aside, you know, and look at what that shit. What?
Put your feelings aside.
Yes.
Something that we obviously didn't do.
I don't know about you, but I was just looking at her like, bitch, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? See, that's like another thing. Like, you want to do shit what other people can't do. You know, because the way this woman is going about her healing is not healing. That's why it's like, okay, I want to know who these psychiatrists are that actually agreed to do the show and give this bitch ass pats. And it's like, okay, for the sake of a show, you lie as soon as your eyes see the camera. And remember we talked about tactics? It's probably a tactic. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, yeah, we know the story. Yeah, it's horrifying. And, you know, a lot of people would say, yeah, you just say these things because you never went through anything like that. Yeah, thank God. I don't have to go through anything to see what the fuck is going on because, you know, the father, you know, her dad saw the red flags. And maybe he should have said something. Maybe, but you know, when your daughter's in love, you don't want to say nothing. You want to support. You're happy for her. It seems all right, you know. But is it Pop's fault? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, okay, I would like to know the full conversation or the full interview of the psychiatrist and Jennifer. Like, yo, like, I would pull that psychiatrist aside. Like, yo, everything that you know about this case, about this woman, about Spence. Like, what's your diagnosis? And don't look at her. Don't look at Jennifer in the corner trying to mouth to you to have, you know, be, so you can be her mouthpiece. No. Like, I'd be like, yo, get Jennifer out the room. Get her the fuck out of the room. I'm talking to you. What were the red signs that, or the red signs that you see, not just in Spence, but in Jennifer as well? Do you think that her way of healing, do you think it's the right way to heal? And if it is, show me what book in your studies, in your practice, that got you your degree and your license to teach, where it says that it is the perfect way to heal. And highlight it. I would like to see that, ma'am, because you enabling this person in front of the camera on Hulu. This shit's gonna get out. And if you get someone in the right position to question your practice in how you do things as a psychiatrist, bitch, you're gonna have bigger problems. I'm just saying.
Colleagues, that's the word.
Oh my god! That's all you got from what I said? Damn.
No, colleagues, that's the word that I was looking for.
Oh my god, I don't care.
Listen.
I don't care.
Colleagues.
I'm gonna pull your mic. I'll pull your mic.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Also, it might sound like we're just picking on Jennifer and we're not talking about Spencer. Yes, he is a piece of shit. Yes, I do believe that the 15 years, I think he got 5 years, was it 5 years in jail minus fucking time for good behavior
And then
and
15
15 years
years
of probation.
probation. Yeah.
There's no way that that's enough time. There's no way. I don't see him changing. He didn't learn anything. He got a slap on the wrist and he got away with a lot of shit. Yes, 15 years is a long time to be on probation, and I do believe that he will fuck up again. And hopefully, if anything comes out, anything good comes out of this show, where it being on Hulu, will be putting his face and his name out there, so that other women don't become his victims. Because again, he is a piece of shit, and the shit that he did to people, to women, is not right, and he should pay for that, and he should pay for it for the rest of his life, not just for 15 years of probation. Because we know that the justice system isn't the best when it comes to protecting victims and not making more victims. I still feel like he didn't learn anything. He got away with a lot of shit, and even though he was in jail, even though he has probation, even though there's evidence of the things that he did, there's still people on his corner that they're like, no, this is the victim, or those women are lying. I don't believe it because I know who he is as a person. Because again, we didn't see any evidence of something that made him snap, something that made him this way. Like there was no facts on him. And again, he doesn't need to participate in the docuseries for them to get public records. And I think they said that there was a prison psychologist or something that he saw. Like I'm sure that there's things that they can speak about, and how there was a psychologist that said that they don't see him changing. They don't see remorse in him. Which, yes, that is the first sign to me that if he's not remorseful for what he did, he's not going to change. He didn't learn anything from it. So, again, hopefully this show does put his face and his name out there so that other people don't fall victims to him. Because he is a piece of shit. In my opinion.
Rag. Yes. Yeah, but if you guys want to see this show for yourself, it is on Hulu. I'm not sure if it's streaming on any other platform. Isn't that like a Hulu original?
Yeah,
Or
I
like
think it's
yeah, I would say you guys go check it out. You know, it kept us at the edge of our seats. I was screaming at the TV. I didn't give a fuck. But, you know, these are just our opinions, and, you know, whatever. We're not professionals of any kind, but it's just kind of, you know, for me anyway, I can't speak for you, but I feel like this whole thing is like a cliffhanger. You know, because I do not doubt that, you know, maybe a couple years from now we'll get another Betrayal. You know, this one was called what? Betrayal, the Perfect Man or something like that, like the Perfect Husband.
The Perfect Husband.
Maybe in the next couple years we'll get like a Betrayal. You know, he came back into my life, like some shit like that, right? You know, you just never know. You know, the guy, he's on probation, and as scary as this may sound, he's probably doing this shit right now as we're speaking. You know, and I think that fear or that wonder of what I just said is probably living in Jennifer's mind right now, and I feel like she'll never get peace. And, you know, in my opinion, I feel like, you know, you just gotta move on, you know. And I know that sounds fucked up because you know, I'm a huge fan of CSI Las Vegas, and every time the chief said, like, that's enough, we move on, and they're so close to getting all the evidence and, catching the motherfucker, building up the evidence and, hoping and wishing that, like, the victims, they stay alive until trial, until someone's ends up behind bars. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just to just say move on. Like, yeah, it sounds fucked up, but you've done all the research, you've already talked to the victims, you've already had your phone conversations, and you have your TV show now, you have your podcast now. Like, why don't you really move on and really try to help these women that are true victims, not just the women that enjoy sexual intimacy with your husband. Like, you're so much focused and you're not letting go. And I think, and I hope that this woman does move on. And maybe there is more information on her podcast, but at this point, I don't know if I even want to listen to it, because I probably won't like the shit that I hear, because I certainly didn't like the shit that I saw. But that's just me, and I know I probably sound fucked up, but these are legit questions. I feel like this whole TV show was a cliffhanger. That's all I'm gonna say about that. So, is there anything else?
No. I'm getting this weird sensation from you.
Like what?
Like, I don't know, you're mad at me or something. I'm a psychopath, remember?
No. Okay, you want to take it there? Let's take it there.
No.
You were the one. Yeah, see?
I was the one.
Now you were calling me a psychopath. Not even do anything.
I said according to this article, we're all psychopaths. That's what I said.
No, you did not say that. Because I wouldn't have tripped that hard.
Oh my God.
Yeah, anyway, we're going to cut this off, and we're going to discuss. Okay, so the next time I turn on the wire run, and if Rob just magically happens to be absent, don't worry. Don't worry, he's fine.
I'm hiding in a box with my ruler for protection.
For protection. Yeah, be careful where and how you're waving that thing, or else.
Okay.
Yeah, you never know. I might snap it in half. I might throw it on the roof. You never know.
No.
Yes.
Rulers. Leave the ruler alone. I should have gotten a metal one.
Yeah, in this Arizona weather, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time picking it up. You're taking it off the roof.
Yeah.
No, I can't do that. You look extra cute with your ruler in your hand. Yeah, with both hands. Like the cute little raccoon you are. Yes. Yes. See, just like that. Look on your screen. Yeah, man, you're lucky. You're lucky that you look this cute.
Well, otherwise.
Otherwise, yeah. True that.
Never forget that face.
Well, thank you so much, babe, for joining me on this episode.
Thank you once again for having me.
Yes, always want you there. And thank you everybody that has tuned in the live stream. And if you are listening to this on the playback on YouTube, and or Spotify and other places where you guys can listen to podcasts. Yeah, don't forget to add, rate, comment, subscribe, follow, and share. And yeah, in the next upcoming episode, I think I would like to get into what was it, the abductions and people that are still trying to scam. So I hope you guys will be all into that. And yeah, we'll let you guys know on my Twitter, which is twitter.com/Miss DJ Hoodie. And I will let you guys know of when that one is gonna go live on the live stream. So we'll check you guys there. And you guys have a beautiful night. And we'll see you guys on the next Y Run.
Wonderful.